Hey, Shalom Israel. Yeah, how about Shem Yahshua Brekah Thumb to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alathun. By Shem Yahshua to the sisters. Where the ISUPK started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans descend from the greatest people on the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? And in 2023, you know what I'm saying, the most important thing as so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is the knowledge of who we are. And we are the Lord's chosen people, the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That's what I'm saying. Preaching Officer Shabal coming to you live from Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Where every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes in the Las Vegas area from 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday is the Brotherhood class. Wednesday is the Biblical Law class. And Thursday is the Scripture Breakdown class, all right? If anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and type them in. ISUPK Las Vegas on Facebook. ISUPK Nevada on YouTube. And ISUPK Las Vegas on TikTok. All right. If you can like and share the class and let everybody know that we live. I'm doing the same thing myself. So Salakia for the pause and the delays. Just trying to make sure, you know what I mean, that these classes get shared around, you know what I mean? And also, again, not just the classes that are coming out of Las Vegas, right? But the classes that are coming out of all these schools, you know what I'm saying, and all these different cities, you know what I'm saying, anything ISUPK, you know what I'm saying, you should be liking, sharing, and subscribing to it. You know what I mean? Again, this isn't just for you. Just because you got the truth, you know what I mean, your job is not done there. You get what I'm saying? You should be making sure that your brothers are aware of the truth, that your sisters are aware of the truth. You know what I mean? Aunties and uncles, whether they accept the truth or not, is not up to you. You know what I'm saying? But you do have the power to let them know about the truth. You know what I mean? So if you flood your timeline with classes, camp speakings, lectures, radio shows, podcasts, and things like that, right? One or two things is going to happen. They're either going to start asking you questions about what's this that's all in your timeline, or, you know what I'm saying, they're going to unfriend you, right? But the thing about it is, if you don't know nothing else, you'll know that you did your job. You get what I'm saying? So whether it's the classes that are coming out of Las Vegas, whether it's the classes that are coming out of, Northern California, Southern California, you understand me, Arizona, Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying, Memphis, Nashville, wherever. If you get a notification that the ISUPK is going live, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, all right? The topic for tonight's class is to be disciplined in all things, or live a life of discipline and patience. All right, and we're gonna get into some scriptures. You know what I'm saying, around, you know what I'm saying, just having discipline and being patient. You get my point. But before that, if there aren't any questions, there's a couple of things that I want to get into before I get into the topic for tonight's class, including brother Iraq, Officer Iraq out here in Vegas. He had a question, or he asked for a breakdown, and I believe it was Galatians the 3rd chapter. Let me get that real quick. I believe it was Galatians the 3rd chapter. Let me see something real quick. Let me check it out real quick. I believe it was Galatians 3. Let me see. No, Galatians was Ephesians. Let me find it. Y'all bear with me, all right? because I did get the breakdown for this brother's question. I just gotta see, gotta find it. All right, is it Colossians 2? All right, give me 1 second. Let me go back to the question. All right, because I want to get to ask a couple other things that I want to get to, and we'll go from there. All right. So y'all bear with me 1 second. Again, ISUPK Las Vegas on Facebook, ISUPK Nevada on YouTube, and ISUPK Las Vegas on TikTok is how you can find us. All right. All right. In the meantime, while I'm looking for this, if anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and type them in. If I can get your question answered tonight, I'll definitely answer your question tonight. If not, I'll write it down and I'll get it to you by next week's class. Hey, Shalom, y'all about to Shabbat Thug. What's going on with you? Let's see. Oh, Galatians 4. Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. Galatians 4. All right. So I had the right book, just the wrong chapter. All right. So y'all bear with me. Let me answer this brother's question. The reason why questions are good is because you might have a question that someone else has as well. You know what I mean? But they they might be nervous because it might be their first class or their first couple of classes. So they might not feel comfortable asking questions. You might mess around and ask a question in class that will, help a whole lot of brothers and sisters. All right. So even if I'm not able to get your question answered tonight, it does not mean that I will not get the answer to your question. All right. And here we're not so prideful to where we sit around and we act like we know everything, that we got all the breakdowns. But that's why we have men above us, who teach us and lead us and guide us and direct us, under the authority of the Most High in Christ, that help us and teach us these breakdowns. All right. So the brother's question, or the brother asked for a breakdown in Galatians chapter 4, verse 30 and 31. All right. Actually, let me see something. Was it 29? I think he started at 29. Slacky, y'all. Bear with me one more time. Slacky. I think it was 29 as well. See something real quick? Let me check it out. Okay, which is 30 and 31. Okay, so I think for context, when I was reading over this, I believe I started at 29 just for the context. Let me see. What is written? Rejoice. Okay, for context, right? We're gonna start at verse 28, right? The brother asked for a breakdown of Galatians chapter 4, verses 30 and 31. But for the context, and so that we can get a complete understanding of what's being said in these two verses, we're gonna read up a little bit. All right. Understand this: when it comes to understanding scripture or understanding context, right? Sometimes you either go up a verse, sometimes you might have to go up a couple verses, or sometimes you might have to go down a verse or two, or sometimes you might have to start at the beginning of the chapter, right? So in this case, to get a full understanding, we're going to start at verse 28. All right. So this is Galatians chapter 4 and verse 28. It says, "Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of promise." Verse 29, "But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit, even so it is now. Nevertheless, what saith the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free," right? And so what this is talking about is this is talking about Israel, right? And who the birthright was given to, and who the promise was given to. You see what I'm saying? We come from the seed of Isaac. I said Isaac. I'm so used to saying Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I combine Abraham and Isaac, right? But we come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because that's who the promise was given to. You get what I'm saying? And so when it says the bondwoman, right? For context, we go to let me see, was it Genesis? Maybe Genesis 21:9. All right. Let's see something real quick. Yeah, Genesis 21:9. All right. It says, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Right? So basically, what this is saying is this right here is further proof that we are not the same as heathens. You know what I'm saying? And that everybody cannot be saved and everybody will not be saved. You understand what I'm saying? The promise was given to Abraham, then to Isaac, and then to Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Psalms 147:19 says, he has not dealt so with any other nation. Let's get that real quick. Psalms 147:19. All this right here from Galatians the 4th chapter to Genesis the 21st chapter to Psalms 147. All this is just more proof that this Bible was only written to the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? This is when Psalms 147:19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20, he has not dealt so with any nation, right? And so that's why, and you got to remember also, Romans 15:4 says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. You know what I'm saying? So what you see in Galatians, you know what I'm saying, this was already talked about back in Genesis. You get what I'm saying? You got to remember, during the time of the New Testament, all they had was the Old Testament. And so everything that was taught to them through the Old Testament. We have the Old Testament and the New Testament. All right. So what this is talking about is casting out the bondwoman. So today, right? With that today is more so talking about spiritually casting out that bondwoman or that bond man, meaning that those heathens. You know what I'm saying? Separate yourself from the heathens. Don't have that Christian spirit or that Christian mindset and trying to bring them all in. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset of a Christian. You know what I'm saying? God does not love everybody. Christ is not coming back to save everybody. You know what I mean? All that is Christian dogma or what's that other word that is they call us a cult, but the fact that they teach that we serve a God that will allow a nation of people to rape, rob, murder, and enslave another nation of people and go to the same heaven or enjoy the same rewards as this nation without them having to suffer any consequences for what they've done and for what they're doing. That is a mind-blowing thing right there. You see what I'm saying? And if you believe that in 2023, with everything that's been going on over the last 400 plus years and everything that's going on today, if you still are praying for salvation for anyone other than you and your own people, you know what I'm saying? You have a illness and you need help. You know what I'm saying? And the only place that you can get that help from is the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody in this school at one point in time was either Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, or something like that. And we needed help. You know what I'm saying? And most high in Christ that we was able to get that help through the ISUPK. And our eyes was open. You see what I'm saying? Because when we was in the world, when we was going to church, our eyes are open, but they were closed spiritually. You know what I'm saying? We could see physically, but we couldn't see. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the ability to understand that the hypocrisy that comes out of the Christian church. You get what I'm saying? We didn't even have the sense. We didn't even have the common sense to pick up on something as simple as the laws are done away with. Christ loves you no matter who you are and no matter how you are. And they tell you that the laws are done away with, but at the same time, they will pass that collection plate around 3 or 4 times in one service. And most churches have 3 services each Sunday. You see what I'm saying? The fact that they teach you to celebrate Easter and Halloween. A lot of churches have Halloween trick or treating in haunted houses at the damn church. Now, according to this same church, Halloween is supposed to be satanic, right or wrong? It's supposed to be all about. It's supposed to be a form of devil worship, right? But yet, this same people that's saying that Halloween is a form of devil worshiping is the same people that will have that same setup at their church. And because we couldn't see, we didn't even realize the brainwashing, the program that had been going on over the years. You know what I'm saying? But now that veil has been lifted over from off of our eyes, and now we see the bigger picture. And now we see that these pastors, you know what I'm saying, ain't nothing but pimps, and you know what I'm saying, pimps, and the people in the church, you know what I'm saying, are prostitutes. You whore yourself out to these pastors. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, literally or figuratively, and in some cases, literally in both sometimes. You get what I'm saying? And so the bottom line is, when it comes to Galatians 4, chapter 4, verse 30 and 31, you know what I'm saying? This is saying, to sum this up, this is saying that, you know what I'm saying, these heathens cannot get a piece of our inheritance. And in reality, why would you want them to get a piece of our inheritance when they already have their inheritance? They're ruling the world. Every nation on the planet Earth has a place to go except us. We have no home. You see what I'm saying? They tell us to go back to Africa, but we're not Africans. They tell us so-called Mexicans to go back to Mexico, you know what I'm saying? But that's not really their land anymore. It was at one point, but it's not anymore. You get what I'm saying? So no matter where we go, we're always going to be looked at as niggas, spicks, and wetbacks. No matter where we go, we're going to be the oppressed. You know what I'm saying? And these heathens are the oppressors. But when Christ returns, it's going to be the other way around. You know what I'm saying? We'll become the oppressors, and they'll become the oppressed. But because we're such a righteous nation of people, even though they'll be oppressed, you know what I'm saying, the oppression that they will suffer won't even be nowhere near on the level of the oppression that we've suffered and that we're suffering today. You know what I'm saying? So if the brothers watching the class, let me know if that answers your question. In the meantime, I'm gonna go to a couple of these videos I got. Actually, it's not even this one is in the video. All right. This right here, this what I'm about to go into is exactly why we should not want salvation for these other nations, and it's also why we shouldn't want them to get any kind of inheritance. We shouldn't want to share anything with them because of stories like the one I'm about to pull right now. All right. All right, let me see some real quick. Let me check it out. Let's see, is that it? No, right here. This the one. All right, this is courtesy of the Shade Room. All right, I'm gonna put my phone up to the camera. Y'all let me know if y'all can read this. If not, I'll read it for you. I'm gonna still read it anyway, but let me know if y'all can see this. All right. And just in case you wasn't able to see that, right? It says Burger King assistant manager fired after reportedly serving customers dirty fries out of the trash can. Right? Let me see if I can find the rest of it. Oh damn, that's it, huh? Let me see if I can find a story. See if I can find the whole story. I thought it was gonna show me a little bit more. Okay, this is according to the New York Post. This is from July 20th, 2023. It says Burger King who allegedly served French fries from the trash can is fired. The assistant manager at a South Carolina Burger King who allegedly served customers French fries that had been fished out of a trash can has been fired. Burger King confirmed Jamie Major's termination by the local franchise operator and strongly condemned her suspected actions in a statement to the Post. These allegations do not align to the brand's commitment to quality food and service and creating an exceptional guest experience. The employee in question has been terminated. The franchise is cooperating with local authorities, and because this remains an ongoing investigation, we are unable to share additional details at this time. Right? Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all who this person is. Let me read it, and I'm gonna show y'all what she looks like. And y'all won't be surprised when y'all see the picture. Right? Check this out. Major lost her job in the wake of her arrest Monday on a felony charge of tampering with food over claims that the 39-year-old Burger King staff mixed French fries removed from the trash can with freshly cooked fries. Bam. There she go right there. So now, for everyone that wants us to join hand in hand with the oppressor and love them and sing songs and hold hands and go into the kingdom with them, and we're gonna go up into heaven and we're gonna play instruments and we're gonna sing and dance and all that. This is who you want to get in. This is who you want to be in heaven with. This is who you want Christ to come back and save. This devil right here. You understand what I'm saying? So now, please don't think for 1 second that she's the only one that's doing things like this or that have done things like this. You get my point? Your oppressor hates you. No matter how much they smile in your face, you know what I'm saying? Behind your back, they're thinking of ways to destroy you. You get what I'm saying? What's that? I believe it's Psalm the 55th chapter. You know what I'm saying? His words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. That's the spirit of the oppressor, right? That's the mindset of the oppressor. So now this chick right here, you know what I'm saying? When you walk in there working at Burger King, can I take your order? And she's smiling and she's trying to be, she's acting like she's being real friendly. You see what I'm saying? But in reality, she's serving you fries that came out the trash can. These are the type of animals that you're dealing with. You get my point? So, again, the perfect precept for that is Psalm chapter 55, verse 20 and 21. The reason why that applies is that right there is war. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? The reason why it might not be war as far as like guns and missiles and stuff like that, but it is considered war when it's a way to destroy you. Now imagine, imagine getting some fries and you don't know that they came out the trash can and you eat them and you get some kind of food poisoning, you end up in the hospital for 3 days. You get my point? Yeah, you're right. That's a fair point. The sister said, I'm surprised she even got charged with a felony. The oppressor must have been the one who complained is probably why. Yeah, you never know. You never know. That's probably how she got reported. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way that this will probably get any attention. I don't want me or to share any more with the oppressor than I already have. Listen, that's an excellent point. Listen, they get enough. You know what I'm saying? They get enough. They don't need no more from us. They get more than enough. Wicked spirit, we can't make straight with the Lord, make crooked. Perfect precept. That is an excellent precept. You cannot make straight with the Lord is made crooked. Excellent precept. All right. Where are we? Okay, so that's it on that. I got one more thing that I want to show you guys, and then it's another thing that I want to get into. We still doing good on time, so we'll still have time to get into the breakdown. All right, y'all bear with me. Another thing that I want to show y'all as well. All right, hold on 1 second, because this right here was crazy. Let's see. Let's see. Is this it? Let's see. Let's see. Is this it? No. Okay, this is it right here. Ariana Davis and Crystal Williams, who filed a lawsuit against Lizzo, claims they feared termination if they weren't fun and didn't do whatever Lizzo wanted them to do. All right. So now, the reason why I wanted to go into this is because this is what we have to understand, right? We're such respecters of persons, right? That we think that because someone can sing and dance, or because they sold millions of records, right? That they're these great people. You see what I'm saying? And we gotta stop doing that, right? Just because you can shoot 3 pointers from 35 feet and you can dunk over 7 footers and you can catch one-handed touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? Or you sold 10 million records, and you got the number one movie in the box office and all these other things, right? Just because you have the ability to do these things does not make you a righteous person, right? And what we've seen over the years is the more you give somebody when it comes to fame and money, the more they show you their true colors. You get what I'm saying? And for all those people that thought Lizzo was this stand-up woman and all these different things, there's multiple accusations that's coming out against her. You get what I'm saying? This right here says Lizzo speaks out amid a lawsuit accusing her of sexual harassment, body shaming, and more. All these things are starting to come out against her now. You want to know why? Because the thing about it is that what happens is when you start to get up on that high horse, you know what I'm saying? You forget who you are. You forget what you're about. You get what I'm saying? You pick up the spirit of the oppressor, and you start to find yourself acting just like the oppressor, right? If you want more proof, if you want more proof that Lizzo has the spirit of the oppressor, check this story out. This is according to NBC News. Amsterdam club accusations. At the club, Lizzo allegedly began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas. Now, these are all lawsuits and accusations that are aimed at Lizzo from former dancers and employees. And the reason why I wanted to speak on this in class is because once again we have to understand that just because we can sing and dance and because we have a talent, that is a gift from the Most High. The Most High made us the most talented people on the face of the earth. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? The scripture says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. These things that this woman is being accused of reeks of Esau. You see what I'm saying? Reeks of Esau, reeks of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you would do your own people like this just goes to show you just how lost and destroyed we are as a nation. You see what I'm saying? For any woman or any man to do something like this and force people to do something like this goes to show you just how little love and respect we actually have for our own people. You get what I'm saying? And so, again, it's important to understand. Don't think because a person's on TV that makes them this they're just the smartest person in the room, or they're the most they're the most generous person in the room. They're the kindest person in the room. No, more time than not, they're just the most talented person in the room. But it doesn't make them the most righteous person in the room. You know what I'm saying? So for all you Lizzo fans out there, listen, man, I only know one song of hers myself. You see what I'm saying? But there are a lot of Lizzo fans out there, and they support her in everything that she does because she gave bigger women the ultimate green light. You see what I'm saying? And so now here's the thing about it is there's nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself as a woman. I don't give a damn what size you are. There's nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself as a brother or as a sister. But at the same time, there's a level of shamefacedness that you're supposed to carry yourself with. And this woman has no shame whatsoever, and you can tell from the things that she wears on stage. You see what I'm saying? You could tell from the thing that she has her performers wearing on stage. If those accusations are true, again, she invited people on stage to touch the naked dancers and touch the dildos that was popping out of the performers' vaginas and having them eat bananas that was sticking out. Listen, just thinking about that is just listen. It's just, I mean, you want to talk about sexual deviancy? That right there is sexual deviancy at its finest, right there. Like, I mean, I don't even want to go no farther into detail. Y'all just, I mean, just think about it from your perspective. Just think about what's going through your mind as I'm breaking this down. And what y'all thinking is the same thing that I'm thinking. I just won't say it in class, but it's fucking disgusting. Like, there's really no other way to look at it. Like, because I mean, what's clean about that? I mean, if you just look at a dancer that's been on stage for however long, that's been up there dancing, she just as sweaty and dirty as she could be. But even if she just got out the shower, a banana, like, listen, okay, listen. The bottom line is she's a deviant and she's pushing sexual deviancy. You know what I'm saying? And if these accusations are true, you know what I'm saying, then she deserves what she got coming to her. All right. Sister asks, does Ezekiel 33 and 11 fit with this story? Let me pull it and find out. See Ezekiel 33 and 11. Say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his ways and live. Turn ye from your evil ways. For why will ye die, O house of Israel? Yes, that precept definitely works. And it doesn't just work with Lizzo. This works with anyone who's pushing the LGBT agenda. Anyone that's pushing selling drugs as a way of life, or gangbanging as a way of life, or prostitution as a way of life. Any one of our people that's making those things seem like that's the thing to do. You see what I'm saying? Like we would prefer definitely brothers in the ISUPK, but the Most High, you know what I'm saying, would rather that you turn from your wicked ways and serve Him than to die a horrible, disgusting death. Because if all these accusations about her is true, and she continues to get shamed the way she does, and she loses whatever endorsements and stuff like that, and she continues to get shamed publicly, that embarrassment and that shame is almost like a form of death, because she thrives off the attention that she gets from social media and that she gets from the media. You get what I'm saying? And so now if every time she turns on the TV, all they're doing is throwing dirt on her name, to the point to where she probably be embarrassed to show her face in public. You get my point? But instead of living like that, instead of pushing that kind of lifestyle, instead of pushing that get rich or die trying lifestyle, instead of pushing YOLO mindset, you know what I'm saying? Instead of pushing that, pimping ain't easy, and I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't love these hoes, and sleep with you, you know what I'm saying? What did Pharrell say on that song with Snoop Dogg? What did he say? Cheat on your man, girl. That's how you get at his head. That's what Pharrell said on that song. Drop it like it's hot. Cheat on your man, girl. That's how you get at his head. Teaching stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, is why we're in the condition that we are as a nation, because we think that these things are cool, because we're looking at them and we're looking at their money, and we're looking at the fact that they on TV all the time and all these other kind of things, and we want to be just like them. But in reality, we should be the complete opposite of them. You get what I'm saying? That's the other thing. It ain't tricking if you got it. You know what I'm saying? And like I've said in class many a times before, and I'm gonna continue to say this until there's no breath left in my lungs. It is tricking. The difference is you got it, but you still tricking. No matter how you look at it. If you spending $1,000 for a date with a girl that you don't know, you tricking. If you paying her rent over one phone conversation, you tricking. You see what I'm saying? If she bought you a goddamn 7-Eleven hot dog and a Slurpee, you know what I'm saying, and you go buy her some Balenciagas in a goddamn Coach bag, you know what I'm saying, you tricking. The difference is you got it. That's all. But you still a trick nonetheless. Having the money to do it does not mean that you're less of a trick. You see what I'm saying? Instead of using that money to build up your nation, you know what I'm saying, you rather spend that money on some hoe that's gonna be with the next dude that's willing to trick off more money than you. You know what I mean? So that's it on that. All right. Um, real quick, right? Today um, is a reminder of who I was, and you know what I'm saying, who I am today, thanks to the Most High. You get my point. Um, for anybody that know, you know what I'm saying, when I was in the world, I did the gang banging thing and ran the streets and all this other stuff, right? And you know what I'm saying, every August 3rd, we would get together, barbecue, and do whatever, and we was ready for whatever, right? And every time this day comes around, every year that this day comes around, I'm reminded of just how grateful I am for the Most High's mercy. You get what I'm saying? The fact that not just me, but the fact that a lot of us that are sitting in these classes right now, that at one point in time, we lived a life where we actually got excited at the thought of someone coming through and shooting at us, or us going through another neighborhood shooting at other people, or running up in the liquor stores and robbing people and just terrorizing the neighborhood. How that was an adrenaline rush. How we would hang out on corners and listen to music and sell drugs and throw up gang signs and do all these different things, and didn't even have the sense to realize that all we was doing was promoting more black on black crime. And so when I think about today, I don't think about it with the same mindset that I thought about it. What 7 years ago now? 7 years ago. 7 years ago, this day was like a holiday for us. We go buy a new fit, most likely some 501s, brand new Pro Club. You know what I'm saying? Get some blue Air Force Ones, get the fresh blue fitted hat. You know what I'm saying? And we actually like ironed the day before, looking forward to this day, so that we can either go to the park, go to this park over here, go to some park over here, and hang out, eat all kind of unlawful food, and dare anybody that was not from our neighborhood to come to that park or come on that street. It was like royally speaking, it was like a holiday. You see what I'm saying? It was like a birthday. We could not wait for this day so that we can act the ass on just such a large scale. There was so much drinking, so much drug use, just so much criminal activities that was going on. You know what I'm saying? All to celebrate death, destruction, prison. You know what I'm saying? There was brothers that was in a wheelchair and would not miss this day. Those brothers that you wouldn't see all year, but this time of year, cats is coming out the woodwork because you had to be there for 8-month third day. You had to find out where it was at, and you had to be there. And so I don't use this day as a day to celebrate that life. I use this day to celebrate the life that I live today, and not a celebration as in throw a party or nothing like that. But it's more so me thanking the Most High and just being humbled by the amount of mercy that He's shown me that I was not worthy of, and still don't believe I'm worthy of to this day. And so I thank the Most High for His mercy. You know what I'm saying? I thank the Most High for this truth. You know what I'm saying? I thank the Most High for giving me an opportunity with this platform, you know what I'm saying, to spread this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and I got a precept for that whole way of life, whether it's drug dealing, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, armed robbery, carjacking, gang banging, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. I got the perfect precept for that. All right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in verse 11. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Right? And so as I read this scripture, you know, I fight back the tears, just thinking about just thinking about the things that I did, and the things that I was willing to do. There wasn't a day that I wasn't out there taking penitentiary chances, and was taking chances for, you know what I'm saying, a group of cats that really didn't give a damn about me. But I didn't know that at the time. And when I think back on those times, and I think about all the times that I could have been shot, that I should have been shot, or that I should have went to jail, and I think about the fact that I didn't because the Most High saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, it's beyond humbling. And you know, again, I just say Barakatah Yahweh Shah for his favor and his mercy. And you know, I pray that he continue to give me the strength to continue to fight that old man and continue to be the man that he called me to be, and just stay focused and stay disciplined and continue to do this work. All right, Sister Axe was Titus, a precept as well. See something real quick. Titus 2 and 14. Let's see. Titus chapter 2 and verse 14. Who gave himself for us that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. Listen, man, if you lived a life of crime, and I don't even necessarily mean being a stick-up kid or moving packs. If you lived a life of crime, meaning that you was out here sinning against the Lord, whether it was celebrating birthdays, eating pork, getting shape-ups, rocking dreads, whatever the case may be, right? And you no longer do those things, you know what I'm saying? You don't do these things because Christ, the most perfect person that ever walked the face of this earth, gave his life so that you would have an opportunity to sit in this class. And no class should be taken lightly. Even if it's a breakdown that you've heard before, listen to that breakdown and write them scriptures down and take it all in and put these scriptures in the forefront of your mind and walk around with these precepts on a daily basis as a reminder of the reason that you're here is because Christ gave himself. You want to talk about the ultimate act of selflessness? Imagine going to prison for a crime that you did not commit and having to give your life for a crime you did not commit. That's what Christ did. So every time you get ready to pick up that pork chop, every time you get ready to throw that birthday party for your undeserving ass, spoiled ass son or daughter, every time you get ready to nag your husband about Valentine's Day or your birthday or some unlawful ass event that you want to be a part of, remember, Christ gave his life so that you can turn away from that life. Christ died so that you can live. And that's the other problem with Christianity. They spit on the name of Christ. And the reason why I say that they spit on the name of Christ is because they all are aware that Christ died on the cross, that he was crucified, that he died a horrible death. But they think that Christ died on that cross so that they can continue to eat pork chop sandwiches, or so that they can continue to go to Red Lobster and eat all you can eat shrimp and crab and oysters or whatever other unlawful thing that they sell at that place. They believe that Christ died that horrible death so that they could put a fucking Christmas tree in their house. Excuse my language. But this is the mindset of a Christian. And if you have that mindset, that means you truly don't give a damn about Christ. You could not care about Christ if you celebrate Christmas. You could not give a damn about Christ if you celebrated the 4th of July. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, Titus 2:14 is a perfect precept that we all should keep in the forefront of our minds. You know what I mean? So that's it on that. Is one other thing that I wanted to go into as well, and the reason why is because we're talking about celebrating birthdays and stuff like that, and doing all these things that go against Christ, right? In the laws of the Most High, right? And how you know that the people who claim that they love you and respect what you own really don't respect what you own, right? For anyone that has a birthday coming up or had a birthday that just passed, and it is common knowledge to the people that claim that they care about you, for them to send you birthday texts knowing that you don't celebrate birthdays, let you know that they don't really give a damn about you. It's more so about them. You get my point? You know, dude, I mean, full disclosure, you know what I'm saying? Confession is good for the soul. So, and this right here is the spirit of Christianity, right? And I love the truth more than I love my mother. You know what I'm saying? I love my mother, and I never wish anything bad on her at all. I pray that she finds the truth. I pray that something that I say in one of these classes or one of these camp speakings, or something that Captain Soccer War might say, or Captain Goodall, or you know what I mean, or General Haas, or somebody like that. I pray that she hears something in one of these radio shows, or one of these classes, and it finally hits her to the point to where she finally comes to the realization, you know what I'm saying, that she needs to give up that life of Christianity, you know what I'm saying, and come serve the Lord the way the Lord is supposed to be served. Right? And so she sent me a text the other day. And when you start off with, I know you don't, but that lets you know everything you need to know. If a nigga walking to you and say, hey man, no disrespect, but that means they're getting ready to be disrespectful. So the text started out by saying, I know you don't celebrate birthdays. Everybody in class, what was the word after that? Anybody want to take a guess? Because that's how the text started. I know you don't celebrate birthdays. Who knows what the following word was after that? Who wants to take a wild guess? You know what I'm saying? Don't give yourself a headache trying to figure out what the next thing was said. Yep, that's it. I know you don't celebrate birthdays, but I gave birth to you. But I gave birth to you, and so I want to celebrate you. Happy Born Day. As if Happy Born Day is just so different than Happy Birthday, right? And it took me a long time before I responded, and then when I did respond, I just said right on, because you know, talking to a Christian is like talking to a wall. You know what I mean? You might actually get better conversation out that wall. That wall might have more understanding than a goddamn Christian does. You get my point? But again, for those that don't understand or know why we don't celebrate birthdays, it's not because we said so. It's because it goes against what the Most High wants us to do. We have plenty of days to celebrate. Our birthdays ain't one of them. Hey, Shalom, Cap. What's going on, sir? Let's get Genesis chapter 40. Okay, so I'm gonna get two scriptures, right? One in the old and one in the new. right? So we'll be able to see Old Testament, New Testament. It does not matter. Nothing changes. All right. So now let's get it. So we're gonna start in Genesis chapter 40 and verse 20, and then I'm gonna read Matthew chapter 14 and verse 6. And I want y'all to tell me what stands out about these two scriptures. All right. All right, let's get it. See something real quick. All right, cool. This is Genesis chapter 40 and verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. Right? So Genesis chapter 40 and verse 20. Right? So now we're going to go to Matthew's chapter 14 and verse 6. This is Matthew chapter 14 and verse 6. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Right? So now my question to you is, what stands out about these two scriptures? Now, again, we took one from the old and we took one from the new. What did we just learn in these two scriptures? Who knows? Who wants to give it a shot? Okay, got time to get into this breakdown. We're good to go. Cool. That's true, but why though? You're correct. Birthdays shouldn't be celebrated, but why shouldn't they be? That's the answer right there. Old Testament, New Testament, both of these celebrations were birthday celebrations of heathens. You will not find a birthday celebration of an Israelite in this book. You will find the celebration of heathens' birthdays in this book. And the reason why they're in here, because if you continue to read John the 14th chapter, John the Baptist was beheaded on this cat's birthday. Why was John the Baptist beheaded on this cat's birthday? Because he had the nerve to tell that hoe that she was being a hoe. And she told on him. And if you want more, you know what I'm saying? For time's sake, I won't get into it today. But if you read John the 14th chapter, it'll make more sense. You see what I'm saying? Horrible things happen on birthdays. And the reason why horrible things happen on birthdays is because we're not supposed to be celebrating birthdays. How many times have you gone to a birthday party and there's either been a shootout or a fight? Or sometimes both. Oh, man, what's going on, Karatazar? You get what I'm saying? And so this is why we don't celebrate birthdays, because they are a heathen custom. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about it earlier in the scriptures, Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. His ways is celebrating birthdays. Our ways is celebrating high holy days. You get what I'm saying? And then, like I've mentioned in many classes before, we Israelites, it don't got to be nobody's birthday for us to function. Right? A nigga could get a 30-cent raise and he's barbecuing for the whole goddamn block. You see what I'm saying? Nigga mess around and get back let's just say when he filed his taxes, he thought he was only getting $1,200. He get that damn check in the mail. The goddamn check is $5,000. That nigga finna function. You get what I'm saying? That nigga buying bottles. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody come to the house. He even invite niggas to the house that he don't even like because he's so happy that he came up on this extra bread, because that's what we do. We don't need an excuse to celebrate. You got some niggas that'll throw a party when they get fired from their slaveries. You get what I'm saying? Let brothers from California come to Vegas. It's gonna be a party. You get what I'm saying? If brothers from Vegas go to California, guess what? It's gonna be a party. If California Vegas goes to Chicago, guess what? It's going to be a party. You get what I'm saying? Everybody gets it. You get what I'm saying? Think about it. Even though we don't celebrate holidays, right? When we got the 4th of July off, what do? We function that weekend. Why? Because we didn't have to get up early that Monday. So we just partied all goddamn weekend. There was no fireworks, there was no pork, there was no none of that. But you know what it was? Loud music all hours of the night and goddamn video games being played. And niggas arguing over who's the better Madden player. That's it. And some dominoes being banged on the table. That's what you heard all weekend. Why? Because niggas didn't have to get up early on Monday and go to the slavery. You see what I'm saying? We don't need a reason to function. Let me see something. Ecclesiastes 33. Let me see. Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 7. Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? Verse 8. By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Verse 9. Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them had he made ordinary days. I mean, perfect precept. We don't determine what days are special. The Most High does. You get what I'm saying? We just read it. Verse 9. Some of them have he made high days. You see what I'm saying? So if birthdays was something that we should be doing, it would have been in this book. You get my point? When it says for some of them had he made high days, it doesn't say including birthdays. It says some of them had he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them had he made ordinary days. I'm sorry to tell you sisters out there, and I don't mean sisters that's in the school, but you sisters out there, I'm sorry to tell y'all birthdays are irrelevant. And here's how you know that birthdays are silly and foolish. Shouldn't you have a mindset that every day that you open your eyes should be a day to be grateful? Every day that the Lord allows you to open your eyes, that's a gift from the Lord. That's a blessing in itself. Why the hell do you have to wait and celebrate being alive one day out the year? It is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. You see what I'm saying? So that's it on that. If anybody has any questions or comments, you can go ahead and type them in. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this topic. All right. Again, the topic for tonight's class is, live a life of discipline and patience. All right. Move this apocrypha real quick. I'm gonna need that in a little bit. All right. All right, cool. Let's get it. Yeah, a couple more seconds. Actually, it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, I should be done. I should be done with this before class. All right. Before the end of class, like I should say. All right, cool. All right, once we get started, though, if anybody has any questions, that's off topic, you just go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'll spin off of this, get into that, and then boom, come back around. All right, ain't no thing. Hey, you know what? That right there is an excellent point, what the sister just said. If birthdays were important, surely Yahushua's birth would be there. You're absolutely correct. Our king, who's the most perfect and most greatest man to ever walk the face of the earth, for all these things that was written about him, that's not one of them. And so if Christians claim to be Christ-like, that means that you should be doing what Christ did and not do the things that Christ didn't do. And so because you can't pull a precept that shows that Christ's birthday was celebrated, or when Christ's birthday was, or Christ himself acknowledging that it's his birthday and everyone should worship him and praise him with gifts and all these things, is exactly why you shouldn't do it, because he didn't do it. If you truly are a follower of Christ like you claim you are. But we all know that Christians are not. This is why they do the complete opposite of everything Christ did. You get what I'm saying? So, all right, that's it on that. All right, let's get into the topic. First scripture we're gonna go to is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 13. Damn, I turned right to it. That's crazy. Let's see. I want to start up a verse. Let me see something real quick. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So we'll start at Colossians chapter 3 and verse 12. All right. Let's put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, and long suffering. Right? Verse 13, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. Right? So now, before we go any further, there was something in verse 13 that stands out, or that should have stood out to y'all. Right? There's a word in verse 13 that should have stood out to y'all. Right? What is that word? And when you find that word, what should we do with said word? I pretty much gave y'all the answer already. So I know when I read this, I know I had to do it. So what word am I talking about, and what should you do with that word? No, not the word I'm looking for. Although that is an important part of the scripture, very important part of the scripture, and we're gonna get into that in a second, right? That's true. We should look it up, but what should we be looking up? Unless all y'all know this already, because I know I didn't. You know what I mean? So we should definitely look up a word that we don't know. There's a word in verse 13 that, you know what I'm saying, unless you know what I'm saying, y'all vocabulary is on point like that. You know what I'm saying? Should have pulled out the dictionary for this one. All right. Yeah, a couple more seconds to see if y'all get the word. Damn, y'all telling me I'm the only one that didn't know what that meant? Them scholars around here. Huh. I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds, and then we're gonna get it. All right. Because obviously I'm the only one that didn't know this word. Oh, there it is. Forbearance. That's the word. That's the word. In verse 13, it says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. Right? The word that jumped out at me was forbearing. I had no idea what it meant. And when I looked it up, it made even more sense, and it fit perfectly into this breakdown. All right, so we're gonna look up the word forbearing, or we can look up forbear, either one, right? So this is the Oxford Language Dictionary. Forbear, politely or patiently restrain an impulse to do something. Forbearing, patient and restrained, right? So in other words, right, show some restraint. Show some, and I almost gave it to y'all, right? So in order to forbear one another, what must you show? If we're going to be forbearing towards one another, what must we have? Patience is one. Forgiveness is another. Mercy and compassion is good, but not the word I'm looking for. Patience is one word. Patience is one word I'm looking for. Forgiveness is true, but it's not the other word I'm looking for. That's a good word, but not what I'm looking for. Restraint. That's a good word, but not what I'm looking for. All okay. That's the word I was looking for. Discipline. You know what I'm saying? All you just gotta do is go back to the title, go back to the topic, right? In order to be forbearing towards one another, you have to show patience and you have to be disciplined. Why? Because as a seasoned sister, when a new sister comes into the school, she does not know what you know. So she might speak out of turn. She might speak without raising her hand. You get my point? She might not know, you know what I mean, that the brothers get served first in rank order, and then the sisters, and then the kids. She might not know this. So she might try to jump in the line because she's still trying to shed herself for the world, right? But if she apologizes, you know what I'm saying? Forgive her. You know what I'm saying? Forbear her, work with her. Same thing with brothers. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, brothers is coming from all different walks of life. So when a brother when he come to his first class, he doesn't understand, you know what I'm saying, why brothers is so militant and why brothers is so disciplined and so on point. So when he wants to blurt out in class, you know what I'm saying, you can correct a brother without shaming that brother and making him feel stupid or making him feel less than. You get my point? You tolerate the brother, you show restraint, you show discipline, you show patience with that brother. And the more discipline and the more restraint and the more patience that you show, the more that you're going to gain that brother or gain that sister. You get my point? It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. You see what I'm saying? This part cannot be magnified enough, right? Because the thing about it, again, this is a direct cut to the Christian church or any of these fake ass religions out here, because they don't have forgiveness in their heart. And to show you the hypocrisy in them, they push forgiveness on you to forgive the so-called white man, but they do not teach you and press on you to forgive your own. Everybody in this class right now has a family member who's not speaking to another family member and has not spoken to that family member probably in years. And whatever it was that caused them to stop speaking, even if it was a big thing, it happened so long ago that it should be water under the bridge at this point. Now, again, even with that being said, forgiving someone does not mean you have to rock with them the same way that you used to rock with them. Don't put yourself in a position to get played again. You get what I'm saying? If you was rocking with somebody tough and they double cross you, you know what I'm saying, and they put you in a bad situation, right? And they ask you for forgiveness and they sincerely apologize, you apologize. I mean, you accept their apology. You accept their apology. Nobody's saying that you got to rock with them the same way and put yourself in a position to be double crossed again, but you forgive them, and you don't walk around with that hatred in your mind. You know what I'm saying? That desire to want to do something bad to them. You know what I'm saying? You let it go, right? Let's get down to the end. It says, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. We know that Christ forgave us, because if he didn't, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So the same way that you want mercy from the Most High and you want mercy from Christ, you know what I'm saying? It's the same way that you got to be prepared to be merciful towards your brother or towards your sister. You get my point? Nobody says that you're going to get along with your brothers or your sisters all the time. Nobody says that, right? But y'all forbear one another. Show that patience, show that discipline, and show that restraint. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's love right there. You know what I'm saying? 70 times 7. You see what I'm saying? But again, you also have to have the same discipline to not rock with that brother the same way or rock with that sister the same way. But you can damn sure forgive them. We've all been hurt in some way, shape, or form somewhere along our lives. But we don't walk around with that hatred and that bitterness. You know what I'm saying? We got to let that go. How you claim to be a new man or a new woman in Christ and you still walk around with the same grudges from 20 years ago? You get what I'm saying? We've all had something that happened to us that you feel like, man, I'll never forgive that person for that. You know what I'm saying? You can forgive them, but just don't rock with that person the same. You shouldn't forget. And the reason why you shouldn't forget is because not forgetting means that you'll know how to maneuver with that individual. You get what I'm saying? You forgive them, but you don't have to forget. But at the same time, don't treat them like a stranger. Don't treat them like an outsider. Don't treat them with hatred. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Love them from a distance. You get what I'm saying? Because Christianity was built on forgiveness of the oppressors, because they had us in slavery and used the Bible to brainwash us in forgiveness so we don't retaliate against them. Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why the slave master used the Bible to manipulate us is because they knew that our faith was strong. It was misguided, but it was strong nonetheless. And so they knew the way to get our attention, the way to program us was with that book. But they used that book to manipulate us. But they would never let us read that book in its purest form, because they knew that if we read that book in its purest form, we would know that they were the oppressors. And then we would learn that we were the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And that there were laws, statutes, and commandments that we were supposed to follow. And they knew that if we turned away from our sinful ways and turned back to our power, they would no longer be in authority. And they couldn't have that. You see what I'm saying? That's what I was saying earlier. They push forgiveness for everybody else except your actual brother or your actual sister. They didn't want us reading the Bible. They let us read blueprints, but they wouldn't let us read the Bible. Which, again, the spirit of Christianity, they was cutting eyes out of brothers' heads. You know what I'm saying? They was burning tongues out and cutting tongues off for reading the Bible. You get what I'm saying? And this right here is an excellent point as well, like the sister said. And we have all hurt others in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was physically, whether it was mentally, whether it was both. And if we all gonna be honest with ourselves, we all should be willing to admit at one point in time, whether it was intentional or not, you hurt someone that you care about. And you asked for forgiveness and you wanted them to forgive you. Well, that's the same spirit that you're supposed to have when someone offends you. Now, again, with that being said, I cannot stress this enough. With that being said, again, it does not mean allow yourself to be gullible and put yourself in a position to where that person can do that to you again. But what I am saying you should do is not have that mentality when you see them, to have that on-site mentality, which is something that I was guilty of at one point in time. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. It really wasn't even that long ago. And it took for a brother above me to talk me down off of what I was on. And that's why this class is hitting so hard for me personally, because I know about it. I know about having that on-site mentality. I know about having to get counsel to not have that on-site mentality. And I thank the Most High for that brother, because that brother gave me some righteous counsel that day. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, everything ended up being cool. You get what I'm saying? All right, so that's it on that. From there, we're going to go to the book of Proverbs, all right? I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, and verse 29. Proverbs is arguably my favorite book in the whole Bible, because Proverbs, you know, Proverbs is wise sayings. And we know that obviously the Bible is full of game. The whole Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, including the Apocrypha, we know that the Bible is full of game. But this Proverbs, and listen, man, this Proverbs be hidden. All right. All right, cool. Let's get it. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, and verse 29. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Right? Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Yeah, this is funny, right? So I looked up the word folly, right? I'm gonna read the scripture again, and I'm gonna give y'all the definition for the word folly. This is Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 29. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. The definition of folly in the Oxford Language Dictionary is lack of good sense, foolishness, right? So basically, to act a damn fool, basically, is what it means to act or react with folly. You get what I'm saying? So now, meaning this, right? Because the scriptures say, "Be ye angry and sin not." So it's not unlawful to be angry about something. However, in your anger, do not sin. That's I believe it's Ephesians 4 and 26, right? But here's the thing about it is, right? Being angry and reacting in that same anger is foolishness. You get my point? And so what we have to do is we have to have enough discipline to check ourselves, right? So now, even with that being said, right, does that mean we should allow ourselves to be disrespected? Does that mean that we should allow ourselves to be talked to or talked down to any kind of way? It don't mean that at all, right? But you can get your point across. You can go talk to a man face to face and man to man, or woman to woman, without it resorting to blows. It shouldn't have to come to blows because you were offended or because you felt you were disrespected. You can go holler at a cat and be like, "Hey, yo, my man, hey, what the deal, yo?" You know what I'm saying? Why you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you didn't have to get at me like that, or whatever the case may be, and let that be that. You ain't got to be ready to throw hands from the giddy up. You know what I'm saying? But you can get your point across, you know what I'm saying, without doing something foolish. You see what I'm saying? That's why when it says be ye angry and sin not, you can be mad about somebody being disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? But you don't always have to act on that disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. Hey, that's an excellent point right there, right? If you're asking that question, I see the question marks. The answer to your question is absolutely 1000% yes. Don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions. How many of y'all know somebody that's in jail right now for making an irrational decision based on emotions, just based on overreacting? You sisters, right? Now I don't mean the sisters that are in the truth. I mean you sisters that have shed yourselves from the world, right? Think about a time that either you or your auntie or your sister or cousin or somebody like that got mad at her dude and cut his clothes up. The same clothes that you bought, by the way. Cut his clothes up or busted out the windows on the car that you make the payments on. Or you keyed his car. You see what I'm saying? Or you caught him to his job and lied on him and said that he put his hands on you or something like that. Now he's fired, and now y'all didn't got evicted because now y'all can't pay the rent. You know what I mean? These examples might sound extreme, but we all know somebody that's either done something like that or we know of a situation like that. You see what I'm saying? And listen, and let me tell you something. That is the way to go about things, right? And I know sometimes in the heat of the battle, it's hard to have that mindset. But imagine if we all conducted ourselves like this: listen, process, and respond. Because sometimes we be so quick to want to respond that we might have misheard what was said, and then we mess around and overreact and was 1000% wrong because we misheard or misunderstood the point that was trying to be made and we overreacted. Now you got to sit there and look like a jackass, and then you got to sit there and apologize because you overreacted. You get what I'm saying? When you understand how emotions work and how they are temporary, and if you just wait a minute, that what that has caused that emotion doesn't even matter or it could be resolved in a much different way. Listen, that's an excellent point. A lot of times in the midst of a situation, we want to react so badly that when we think back on it later on, it's like, man, that really wasn't that big of a deal. Man, that really wasn't that serious. You know what I'm saying? I regret reacting the way I did, man. I didn't even have to do all that, dude. That wasn't even necessary. You get my point? And so this is what has to happen. You know what I mean? Like we process it first, right? And instead of assuming, ask. Hey, yo, my man, hey, did you say something? Was you talking to me? Hey, what you say, bro? Hey, yo, bro, what's good, bro? What you say? Oh, okay, I thought you said something else, bro. All right, ain't no thing. Boom, done, right? But then let's just say that whatever you thought you heard, let's just say he did say what you thought you heard, right? That mean y'all got to scrap right then and there? Nah. Hey, yo, my man, hey, bro, what the deal? Hey, did you say so and so? Oh, you did? Well, what's happening, man? We got an issue or what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Let's work this out. Let's come to an understanding. You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about this like men. We don't got to do the petty shit. We don't got to go, you know what I'm saying, behind each other's backs. We can talk about it right here and right now. You get my point? Boom, that's how you do it. Ain't no thing. You get my point? You get a lot farther, you know what I'm saying, by having a rational conversation with a brother or with a sister, right? And here's another time when discipline comes into play, and where discipline is so important, right? When you see a person is being overly emotional, even though you're calm and even though you're rational and you're trying to talk that person down, sometimes you got to have enough discipline to say, you know what, okay, he's having a moment right now, or she's having a moment, and he or she can't control themselves. You know what? I'm gonna cool out for a little bit. I'm gonna holler at him later, or I'll holler at her later once he or she is calmed down. You know what I'm saying? Let me just give him or her some space. We got to have enough discipline and enough patience to understand that sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that how that person is acting is cool, but what I am saying is we got to have enough discipline and enough patience to say, you know what, let me give that person some space. Let me respect the game a little bit. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Let me get that brother or sister a few minutes. Let me let them, you know what I'm saying, get themselves in order, and then I'll come to them. You see what I'm saying? That's being disciplined, right? Emotions can be powerful and we can control our emotions, but should not let them control us. Of course not. You should never listen. You should never allow your emotions to control you, or your emotions should never dictate what you do, when you do it, or how you do it. Discipline is the key. Having discipline will teach you how to conquer your emotions. You get what I'm saying? And that's an excellent point right there. Like the sister said, that's how that young man got shot and killed in Chicago, right? And if you're talking about at that hot dog stand, you're absolutely correct. That sister was acting on emotions. That brother that put his hands on her was acting on emotions. And that brother that saw his mother being assaulted acted on emotions. That whole scenario was filled with emotions. And had that woman been able to keep her emotions in check, that brother would still be alive. And that young brother wouldn't have to live with blood on his hands. You see what I'm saying? Because even though that brother ain't gonna do no time, it doesn't mean that he's not doing time up here. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why discipline is so important. That's why discipline is the key. know what I'm talking about? So boom, that's it on that. All right. So we're gonna drop that, but we're gonna stay in Proverbs. All right. Let me get Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 32. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. Right? And so what this is saying is, it says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So you might be big and strong and have all these muscles and you got this big old army behind you and all that's cool. But this scripture is saying that he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. Meaning what? You're not quick to react to every little thing. You're not mad over every little thing. You're not ready to fight over every little thing. That's someone that is slow to anger. That's someone that is patient. You see what I'm saying? If you have children, you must learn how to be disciplined and patient. You have to have the discipline to conduct yourself a certain way so that when you tell your kids to do something or not do something, they won't be able to look at you and say, why are you telling me to do something or not do something that I see you doing all the time? You get my point? And you also have to have patience. You also have to show patience with them. Sometimes those kids are going to say some shit and you want to run their head through a goddamn wall. But you got to have the patience in the ability to calm down and react accordingly. You get what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters that are married, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, marriage is a beautiful thing. And yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes a husband is going to get on his wife's nerves and a wife is going to get on her husband's nerves. Right? But with the discipline and the patience, you can overcome those things. You know what I'm saying? He might be having a bad day or she might be having a bad day. Let me cool out for a little bit. Let me just chill. Let me not, you know what I'm saying, go so hard on her because she forgot to do this or that or whatever. Or he said he was going to do this and he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Let me just cool out a little bit. Let me show a little discipline, be a little patient. You know what I'm saying? His brother said they'll come around eventually. You know what I'm saying? We got to continue to work to build this thing. You get what I'm saying? No matter how strong you are or the numbers behind, discipline takes more strength that most people don't understand. Hey, listen, there's a lot of cats out here right now that are trained in UFC, boxing, special forces, wrestling, all kind of things. And they be at the bar or they at the club or whatever, and somebody drunk and running a goddamn mouth. And this dude or this woman in her mind knows I can take him or her out before he or she even blinks. But because of the discipline, you don't do it. You know you could. There's a brother in this school who is an excellent wrestler. And just like that, he can take a brother down with no problems. And he knows this. But because of the discipline, he's not walking around waiting on somebody to try him so he can show his wrestling skills. You see what I'm saying? Because the brother has discipline, the brother is patient. You know what I'm saying? And that's better than a brother who's 6'7", 275 pounds and got 10 bodyguards around him, and a nigga look at him wrong. He like, go get him. Nah, that's not impressive. 5-on-1 is not impressive. You get my point? Knowing that it's 1-on-5 and you can take all 5 and you don't, that's impressive. You get my point? Anger and emotions will blind your mind every time. You get my point? Your emotions will be the downfall of you if you allow them to be. Your lack of discipline will be your downfall. And when I say your lack of discipline, I'm talking about in anything that you do. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to eat an Oreo here and there, but if you eating a goddamn whole pack of Oreos, or you sleeping in the bed with a whole pack of Oreos and some goddamn Funyuns. You know what I'm saying? Before you know it, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be taking insulin shots. You get what I'm saying? Your knees is gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have all these constant headaches and all these other things from not living a life of discipline. You get my point? So discipline is the key. You know what I'm saying? Having patience, you know what I'm saying, is the key. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're able to navigate through this captivity. Is it more important to show how powerful you are and prove your point, or how much discipline you have? Okay, context is everything, and there's going to be certain situations where you can allow your discipline to dictate that situation, right? So there's just certain situations where you're processing it and you like, you know what, I could say this, but what's going to be the end result of me saying this? What good can come out of me saying this? And if you know that there's no good that can come out of whatever it is that you're getting ready to say, then you probably shouldn't say it. And that right there, you know what I'm saying, is a time to show how much discipline you have, right? When it comes to showing your power, right? If it's in a situation to where you're forced to defend yourself, you go ahead and defend yourself, right? But if it's an issue that can be resolved through having conversation, like rational adults, you have that conversation. But if it's a situation where it looks like it's finna go to the left and you have no choice to defend yourself, then you defend yourself. But if you can get out of that situation, get out of that situation. So again, I say this all the time. Context is everything. So every situation is different. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, especially as so-called Negroes, right? The tribe of Judah, we love getting the last word in. We love being right. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to let nobody get the last word in over us. So we think we always got to have something to say. And so what ends up happening is a small disagreement turns into a big argument because neither one of y'all know how to shut the hell up. When in reality, it's like, you know what? I made my point already. I'm done with it. I don't have nothing else to say. And then if the other individual keeps talking, then over time they'll realize how stupid they look and how stupid they sound because you're sitting here talking to yourself. And so now you look crazy because you sitting there, you doing all this yapping, and niggas sitting there like doing like this on your dog after he done grabbed the remote, you know what I'm saying? And he looking for some WCW or something like that. You know what I mean? He done went and grabbed him a beer. You get what I'm saying? And he cold chilling. And you still running your goddamn mouth. And it's like, damn, you still talking? And then he didn't change the station a long time ago. You see what I'm saying? And so when you see that you're getting to a point to where you just spinning your tires, you got to have enough discipline to say, okay, you know what? I made my point. You know what I'm saying? He or she might not hear me today. You know what I'm saying? But maybe once he or she has had a day or two to think about this conversation, maybe then he or she will realize like I was coming from a good place. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, a nigga meant well, whatever the case may be. And then you can continue from there. All right. Sister asks Proverbs 8:33 a precept. Let's see. Book of Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 33. Hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. Hey, listen, man. I mean, listen, you on point with the precept tonight, man. That's an excellent precept. And listen, this goes for brothers and sisters. It don't just go for the sisters, right? This goes for the brothers as well. You know what I mean? There might be brothers that's a little rough around the edges and still, you know, share themselves in the world. And they might be physically older than the man above them, but spiritually they're way younger. You see what I'm saying? And a brother might not want to take orders from that brother because he's like, man, I'm way older than this brother. I didn't live through way more shit than him. He can't tell me nothing. You get my point? That's the wrong spirit to have, first of all. All right. And I pray that any brother that's going through that, I pray, you know what I'm saying, that they seek counsel, and shed that demon, because that's exactly what that is, right? But it says, hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. If a brother trying to give you some game, don't not listen, or don't ignore the brother because, oh, I'll rank him. He can't tell me nothing. You see what I'm saying? He don't what he gonna tell me? This nigga 20 years younger than me. What the hell he know? Don't have that mentality, right? And it's the same thing for brothers that are husbands. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you are the head. Yes, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You run things. Yes, you know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about that. However, it does not mean that that woman doesn't have some wisdom about herself. If you're a righteous brother and you chose wisely, then that means that that woman that you chose has some knowledge. You see what I'm saying? And if a sister's coming from a good place, she's trying to help. She's not trying to dictate. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to give you some game. You get what I'm saying? So if that sister says, "Hey, I've been reading up on this, man. Too much spicy food is bad for you." You see what I'm saying? That's wisdom. Don't look at it like, bitch, do you know what First Corinthians said? You know what I'm saying? The man rules over the woman, not the other way around. Shut your goddamn mouth. Like, don't do that. But one, she's trying to look out. And for two, she's giving you some wisdom. You get my point? So again, all this goes back to being disciplined. So yes, that's an excellent precept. An excellent precept. Khan Adawan Khan is a great discipline builder. You know what I mean? It is, because just learning how to say it requires discipline in itself, first of all. You know what I mean? Then learning what it means, taking the time to learn it and study it. So yes, you're absolutely correct. Where we at? Are we done there? We're gonna go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 9. Let me see something. All right, bam, there we go. All right, cool. Where we at? All right, this is let me see something real quick. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. All right, hold on. Bear with me 1 second. I just want to check something out real quick. Bear with me. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I want to go with it. All right. So I'm gonna read it again from the top. All right. Bear with me. Let me see something real quick. All right. All right. Cool. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Right. So now anger is an emotion. Right. So now, if you quick to react to every little thing, right, that is a foolish mentality. Because for those out there that think that they can whoop the world, guess what? You cannot whoop the world. You get what I'm saying? There's a pretty good chance that if you decide that you want to fight somebody and you're in the wrong and you have a demon on you, chances are the Lord will not be with you. You understand what I'm saying? I always looked at it like this, right? Some of the greatest fighters of all time have taken losses, right? Whether it's Muhammad Ali, whether it's George Foreman, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Sweet Pea Whitaker, Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez. I can go on and on and on. Y'all get the point. if they can lose a fight with all the skills that they have and all the training that they have, chances are you don't have a tenth of the training that they have. What makes you think that you can't take an L? You get what I'm saying? And so while you walking around with that chip on your shoulder, right? Or you walking around with your chest out because you know you've been in the weight room or you've been doing your push-ups or you know you've been working on your different blocking techniques and your slips and your jabs and all that kind of stuff. So you walk around, you know what I'm saying, with that I wish a nigga would mentality, you know what I'm saying? Which is another bad thing that Judites have, right? I wish a nigga would. Nigga can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nigga don't nigga, this, and this. Right? And guess what? You're gonna pick the wrong day, the wrong time, and the wrong cat, and he gonna knock your goddamn chin off. You get what I'm saying? Have some patience, have some discipline, and don't be so quick to get angry all the time. You get what I'm saying? And even if you do get angry, again, being angry does not mean that you have to act on that anger. You know what I'm saying? Again, you married couples when y'all was in the world. Think about how much broken dishes and furniture that you know what I'm saying destroyed when you was in the world. Think about how many phones were broken. Think about how many windows were broken. Think about the arguments that your parents had and you know storming out the room and leaving the house and driving down the street with a face full of tears and now your eyes is watering, you can't see and you damn near hit a goddamn light pole or something like that because you didn't got so goddamn angry and you got all these tears running down your eye that you can't even see straight. Do not allow your emotions to cause you to say or do something that saying I apologize just won't be good enough. You see what I'm saying? There's certain thing that you apologize for that's the equivalent of trying to put makeup on a black eye. You can put that I don't even know what it's called. Sisters help me out. That I guess it's powder or whatever that stuff is that y'all use with that little circle thing, and y'all be using it. You know what I'm saying? Not y'all yourselves, but I'm just saying though. You know, you try to hide that black eye, right? And you try to cover up that black eye, but guess what? That black eye is still there, right? And so why am I using that as an analogy? I'm using that as an analogy because you can apologize, but guess what? That hurt is still there. You get my point? Thank you. I knew y'all would know. Goddamn makeup experts and shit. Foundation and concealer. What the hell is a concealer? Anyway, I'm not even going to get started. I'm gonna stall the sisters out tonight. Um, the bottom line is that the point that I'm trying to make is this, right? Have your emotions under control and don't be so quick to be angry to where you put yourself in a position to where you say or do something that you cannot take back. Exactly. When you wash that off, that scar is still there, or that bruise is still there, or that knot is still there, whatever the case may be. Well, that's the same thing when you say something to somebody that's so cold and so heartless that even when you apologize and that person says, "All right, it's all good, I forgive you," it does not mean that it's not still swimming around in the back of that person's head. All right, let's see. Let me see something real quick. Sister asks, is Proverbs 19 and 11 a precept? Let's see. I mean, you've been knocking them out all night. I don't see why this one would be any different. How we looking on time? I got about 15 minutes. I got 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Actually, no, I only got a couple more. Yeah, we'd be good to go. 19 and 11. Let me see something. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 11 says, the discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. Okay, when you say add to your notes, like you mean like as far as like um a a breakdown about being disciplined. If that's what you're asking, the answer is yes. You can definitely use this, and you can put this in this breakdown. Right, you start at Colossians 3 and 13. Then you take Proverbs 14 and 29, Proverbs 16 and 32, Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. I believe you mentioned Ezekiel 33 and 11 earlier. I believe that one would work. But yes, this one will work as well. And it's an excellent point because it says the discretion of a man deferreth his anger. Meaning what though? What does that mean? The discretion of a man deferreth his anger. What does that mean? Because it's a good precept, but can you break it down though? Like what is it saying? Y'all ever be doing something and just random music and shit just pop up in your head and then you just want to hear that song and you won't be able to get the song out of your head until you actually listen to it? I know that was random as hell, but that's what I got going on right now. In the midst of me teaching this class, you know what I'm saying? I heard a song yesterday that I hadn't heard in a long time, and now that song is stuck in my head. So now, what exactly does that mean? Because in order to put it in your notes, you definitely want to know what it means. Because if someone says, "Well, why is that in there? Like, what is the point? What is this saying?" You definitely want to know how to break it down. Give you a couple seconds, and I'm gonna give it to you. All right, because kind of coming up against it a little bit. Don't sweat the small stuff. Pick and choose battles. Let me see. Discretion of a man deferred his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. Okay, you got part of it. But for time's sake, I'm gonna give you the rest of it because that's the second part of the scripture. It is in his glory to pass over a transgression. I mean, yeah, pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? Don't even say that ain't even worth my time. That's not even worth my effort. You know what I'm saying? That's not it's not even worth the energy to even, go from 1 to 10 or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Um, so in other words, brothers will respect that brother more for showing the discipline in a situation where most cats would have got mad. He like, oh, that ain't nothing, man. Ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even tripping, man. That's nothing. Right? That's a part of it, right? Choose your battles wisely. Yeah, that's a part of the second part of the scripture, right? The first part says the discretion of a man deferreth his anger. Meaning what? The brother's demeanor is so cool and nonchalant, you won't even know that the brother's mad. You see what I'm saying? That's what this is talking about right here, right? The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, right? So you won't know that he's mad because of his discretion, because of his ability to, remain even keel. You know what I'm saying? The brother's so disciplined that even when he's steaming, you won't even know he's steaming. You see what I'm saying? And you're right. The brother is so discreet. The brother has so much discretion, you know what I'm saying, that he won't allow the situation to go from bad to worse because of the way he carries himself. You know what I'm saying? He has so much discretion, he has so much discipline. You know what I'm saying? On the inside, he's steaming, and in his on the inside, like, man, I should snap this dude's neck. You get my point? But you know what though? I'm not even gonna let him know. He ain't even gonna know because I'm still sitting here, nod my head, nod my head. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately on the left hand side, I've seen cats in situations like that where you got this one dude. I mean, he just barking and barking and barking. Another cat just standing there like he nodding his head, nodding his head, nodding his head. And next thing you know, he done slid this cat, you know what I'm saying, across the goddamn room or in the street or whatever. You get my point? Now, obviously, I'm not saying that that's how it should have ended, but my point is the reason why he was able to do that is because this cat was so busy barking, and this cat right here was just real nonchalant and real cool. And it was as if nothing that this dude was saying was even phasing him. You get my point? But the best thing to do is to not do that. You know what I'm saying? And just have that mentality, oh, man. I know I can max this nigga, man. But you know what? I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna let this go because he has not put his hands on me. Despite everything that he's saying right now, he has not put his hands on me or physically threatened me. So therefore, I won't react with the physical because he hasn't reacted with the physical. So you know what? I could take it there, but I won't take it there. All right. So boom, that's that. All right. So now from there, let's get James chapter 1 and verse 19. We was heavy in the Old Testament, man. Let's get a little bit of New Testament. All right. All right. Where we at? All right, cool. This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved, I was like, I started off wrong. It's like, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Right? Now, if you was paying attention earlier in class, this sounds just like the one that we read in Proverbs, right? I'm gonna read it again. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Meaning what? Don't be so quick to want to respond. Don't be so quick to have something to say. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're so busy preparing your response in your mind, that means you're not all the way listening. And like I mentioned in class earlier, if you're not all the way listening, then there's a chance that you can either miss something or misinterpret something. And then, because now you've allowed your emotion to take over, instead of you asking that individual, hey, did you say this? Or are you trying to call me this or that? Instead of you asking, you assume because you didn't all the way hear or understand that person right, because you're quick to, or you're slow to listen and quick to anger. Now the conversation or the discussion or the disagreement turns into a full-fledged argument to where it's damn near about to go to blows. All over just you just sitting in the cut, you just waiting and waiting, and you're not listening. You just can't wait to respond. So you sit there in your mind like, all right, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, because I can't wait to talk. Just hurry up, hurry up. Ooh, man, I can't wait to hit him with this. Watch when I say this. And you so building up, you're so anticipating your opportunity to speak that you've glossed over everything that that individual has said. And so it says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, right? And so this is what we have to understand as well. It says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, right? But this applies to the sisters as well, right? It says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath, but trust and believe. This applies to the sisters as well. Because as soon as a sister hears something that she don't agree with, she just didn't turn the ears off. All listening, all logic, all common sense, boom, gone. You get what I'm saying? And a majority of the things that sisters do is driven by emotions. And so that's where the discipline comes in. All right. So now you ask, is there a difference between listening and hearing, right? Let's Go to the dictionary. Right? And it's so funny that you asked that, because the thing about it is, right, this is similar to a class that we had did a little while ago, right? Listening to music and hearing music is two totally different things. You see what I'm saying? So when you look up the definition for listen in the Oxford Language Dictionary, it says give one's attention to a sound, an act of listening to something, right? So now, here's where the difference is at right now, right? Hearing, the faculty of perceiving sounds, right? It says, and then you look up the word hear in the Oxford Language Dictionary, perceive with the ear the sound made by someone or something, right? And so now, so when you look at it like that, right? When you listen to something, like you're listening, right? You're listening, meaning that you're listening to the word that's coming out that person's mouth. But if you're hearing what that person is saying, then it resonates. You get my point? Then you can create a perception, which then leads to understanding of what it is that that person is saying. You get my point? So when you hearing a brother out, that means that you're sitting there, or you're hearing a sister out. That means that you're sitting there and you're actually paying attention and you're listening to what's being said. You're hearing it, you're processing it, and you're able to respond accordingly. You see what I'm saying? So listening is one thing, hearing is another, right? And so what I mean by that is, you listen to a song, right? You can listen to that song 10 times and not know not near lyric to that song, because you're really not hearing the song. You're just listening to it. But as you start to hear that song, you'll find yourself trying to live that song. You understand what I'm saying? Let me know if that answers your question, all right? Ecclesiastes 11 and 8. Let's see. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 and verse 8. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. It's a perfect precept. And even in this precept right here, it says, answer not before thou hast heard the cause. It doesn't say has listened to the cause. It says heard the cause. So in other words, how can you answer a question that you have not all the way heard? You see what I'm saying? You got to all the way hear the question before you can answer. So that's how you know that you did not hear what I said, because you can't even answer the question. You get my point? And so that right there is a perfect precept. You know what I'm saying? This sister right here, Monobos, man. If anybody knows some precepts, it's this sister right here. You know what I'm saying? You can trust her to have something in her arsenal somewhere. All right. So yes, that is a perfect precept for what we're talking about, right? You want to hear, like just like it says in Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Here's the conclusion of the whole matter. You know what I'm saying? Here's the conclusion, right? To sum it all up, right? Hearing it, right? I've heard these things, right? And after hearing these things, I've come to the conclusion: fear the Most High and keep His commandments, right? Yes, you have to be in tune. You have to be fully paying attention to what's going on in order to understand what's going on. Think about it like this, right? Think about trying to watch a murder mystery show while cooking. Chances are, because you're not really hearing what's going on, you just kind of listening here and there, you're not going to be able to figure out what's going on. You're not going to be caught. You're going to fall behind because you're not actually hearing what's going on, you know what I'm saying, with this movie or with this show, whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying? Because you're listening, but you're not really hearing it. You see what I'm saying? Because your attention is somewhere else. But when you're actually hearing something, that means that you're giving that thing, you know what I'm saying, your undivided attention. All right. I'm gonna run over a couple minutes. I just got three more scriptures. All right, bear with me. This is James chapter 1 and verse 20. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. So again, I definitely want to make sure that I got the rest of this precept in that I was talking about. I'm gonna read the whole thing again, and I'm gonna read them together. This is James chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Verse 20, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? The wrath of man is an unrighteous thing. You get my point? That's basically what this is saying. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a man full of wrath, if you're a woman full of wrath, you know what I'm saying? That is not righteousness in the sight of the Most High. All right? All right, last scripture, we're going to close the class out. All right? We're going back to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, right? Chapter 30 and verse 21. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. Verse 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Verse 23. Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. Right? And so I'm gonna lay this down all the way flat because for time's sake, you know what I mean. I normally I would ask, you know what I'm saying, what's going on here, but I don't want to run too far over the time. So I'm gonna sum all this up, right? It says, give not over thy mind to heaviness, meaning what? Stop stressing, man. Stop overthinking things, because when you overthink things, you complicate things. We as a people love making things worse than what they really are. When something happens in our minds, it's the end of the world. You get what I'm saying? This is saying, give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. Meaning what? Turn this thing off sometimes. We'll be up all night not being able to sleep because we can't turn them voices off in our heads. And it could be over the simplest, dumbest shit. Some of the most dumbest, most irrelevant shit that we could even think of. And we letting that keep us up all night. Man, I should have did this. I should have let that bitch get away with this. And that punk ass nigga, he got me fucked up and blah, 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 blah. Oh man, what I'm gonna do about this? Oh man, I gotta take care of this. Oh man, what about this? Oh man, what about that? You doing all that and none of that is helping. How do you know? We just ready. You doing all that stressing. You're on the verge of pulling your hair out. You got a goddamn razor blade to your wrist. Okay, you ready to run out in the middle of traffic, right? Over a goddamn light bill. You get what I'm saying? Or something that's it's a deal, but it's not a big deal. You get what I'm saying? When in reality, if you just calm down and you rationalize and observe the situation, there's solutions to the problem. There's always a solution to the problem. You have to be willing to take the time to find said solution. You get my point? Verse 22, the gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Meaning what? The gladness of the mind. Meaning what? You're not constantly stressing over stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like in the UPK, you know what I'm saying? You'll hear brothers say no sweat, right? It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually live it. And if you live with that no sweat mentality, a lot of things that stressed you out before won't stress you out no more. That's the beautiful thing about being in the truth. You couldn't figure out how you can buy all these kids something for their birthday because they all was born 3 days apart. or Christmas or whatever the case may be. And you're telling yourself that you're a failure, you ain't shit, you let them down, and blah, 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 blah. You get my point? But in reality, that ain't nothing to be stressing over. That's nothing. You get what I'm saying? The gladness of the heart is the life of man. If you walk around and you ain't tripping on nothing, your whole life is just so much different. The way you carry yourself is way different. When you walk around with the weight of the world on your shoulders, you know what I'm saying? You know who you are? You are the human version of Eeyore. I probably dated myself when I say Eeyore. Half these niggas have no idea who the hell Eeyore is. Okay? And for time's sake, I'm gonna tell y'all, goddammit, Eeyore is the donkey on Winnie the Pooh. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas didn't like Eeyore. Eeyore was my man's, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But every time you seen Eeyore, this nigga ears was way down here. This nigga face was this goddamn long, face damn near dragging the ground all the time. Eeyore, what's happening? Oh, well, you know, I'm a goddamn donkey and I smell like ass and it's just all bad. Woe is me. Man, just realized I brought up Eeyore in the goddamn class. Anyway, damn, what this class just went left fast. Let me get it back on track. The point that I'm trying to make is right. Don't be Eeyore or anybody else that y'all can think of that's always had that mentality. And don't surround yourself with people like that. Because if you surround yourself with people like that, you'll look up and you'll find yourself just like that. Yes, moving slow like a goddamn turtle. Everybody functioning except Eeyore. Eeyore will kill a party. Niggas big function. Niggas got honey. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got jars of honey lined up. You know what I'm saying? Niggas cold chilling, right? Niggas got the music going on. Christopher Robin did blowed up some balloons and shit. Like niggas is mad chilling. You look at this nigga Eeyore. God damn, Eeyore, you killing the function, man. Damn, man. Who invited Eeyore to the goddamn party? This nigga out of here, man. You see what I'm saying? Because he's killing the game. You get my point? Don't be that dude. You know what I'm saying? Don't be Eeyore. But you sisters, don't be the female Eeyore, whoever that is. Right? Damn. Talking about listen, like negativity breeds negativity. You're absolutely right. All right. Let's get some more. Yeah, that's wild. What was he talking about? Where we at? Verse 23. Verse 23, right? It says, love thine own soul, right? Yeah, Eeyore, boy, let Eeyore tell it, man. His life was just pure hell. You know what I'm saying? Eeyore had arthritis, right? Eeyore had strep throat. You know what I'm saying? Eeyore might have had rectal cancer. Who knows what the hell Eeyore had going on? Let him tell it, man. It was hard on the yard. You know what I'm saying? Eeyore just got done doing a stretch in Pelican Bay. You understand me? Eeyore ain't got no top ramen. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no goddamn orange juice. I'm trying to tell you, they can't make no peanut butter and jelly sandwich, no nothing. Eeyore was truly living a life of hell. And it's like, how? Eeyore, you ain't even paying no rent. You ain't got no bills. You ain't got no baby Eeyores running around. What the hell is your problem? You know what I'm saying? Listen, don't be him. All right? Be the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Be Tigger. You know what I'm saying? Tigger just bounced around all the goddamn time, just happy as hell. That's what you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You Eeyore niggas stay the hell away from me. You want to be Tigger, you can come rock with me. You know what I'm saying? If you Eeyore, man, shake the spot. All right? Verse 23. Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. See? They just even the scripture telling you, don't be the Eeyore nigga. You see what I'm saying? It says, remove sorrow far from thee. You know what I'm saying? In other words, man, just don't deal with the problem when it's time to deal with the problem. Right? It's August the 3rd, right? You didn't already paid your rent, right? Rent is paid, right? Why the hell do you think about September's rent already? Why? Can you get through August? Can you handle August before you start thinking about September? Shouldn't you just be relieved that you got through August? Hey man, Most High in Christ, man. I paid the rent, man. We got a roof over our head for another month. Instead, oh my God, man, it's already August 3rd, man. The rent is due September 1st. Oh my, what the hell am I? Don't do that. All right. It says, remove sorrow far from thee. Right? So whether it's something like rent, right? That dude left you, you know what I'm saying, or that woman left you, remove that sorrow from your heart, because more time than not, if he or she left you, he or she did you a favor. You might not see it right then and there, but in the long run, as you have an opportunity to reflect and you get to thinking about it, you might come to the realization you really didn't like that dude that much anyway. You get what I'm saying? Or, you know, you might have realized some things about that woman that you didn't realize in the beginning because y'all was in the, you know, in the hearts and the eyes phase. You get what I'm saying? And then as time went on, you realize that them hearts started to turn into daggers. All right, let me wrap this class up, man. This thing kind of went off the tracks a little bit, huh? Let me wrap this class up. Yes, exactly. One day at a time. I'm saying you're only going to learn how to not stress here. And once you do it, it's a glorious thing. Hey, listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, you know, the things that we worry about, you know what I'm saying, are things that we really should not be worried about. How about getting on that chariot? If you're going to worry about something, worry about getting on that chariot. How about that? Worry about making sure that everything is in order so that when Christ returns, he doesn't kill you. Worry about that. You get my point? And you can't and don't control any tomorrow that may come your way. You really don't. You have no idea. That's why in here we say Lord willing or Lord allow. Lord allow, I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, you coming through this weekend? Lord allow. You see what I'm saying? Hey, you coming to the party? Lord willing. You get my point? That's how you want to go about things. You get what I'm saying? Because we have no control over anything. The Most High controls everything. You know what I'm saying? We do have control over, you know what I'm saying, not celebrating holidays, not smoking weed. We have control over those things. We can control the things that we do and don't do. Anything outside of that, we can't control. All right. And this, I mean, the way this scripture ends is perfect. It says, "For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein." So now I'm gonna end the class on this. Oh, my man Tabawan, what's good, man? Shalom, Shubaka Thug, what's happening with you? Here's how I'm gonna end the class. All right. It says, "For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein." So now here's the question: what is the number one killer among black folks? Who got it? I'm gonna read it again, and I'm gonna ask the question again. It says, "For sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein." Right? The number one killer among black folks is stress, aka sorrow. You understand what I'm saying? Love thine own soul and comfort thine heart. Remove sorrow far from thee. From sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit, therein. All right. It takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of patience, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to control those emotions, to learn how to conquer that stress, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to be disciplined with speech, you know what I mean, to learn how what to react to and what not to react to, when to react and how to react. You know what I mean? All these things come with time, right? You have to have patience, and you have to be disciplined. And with those two things, you know what I'm saying, you can kill that old man, and you can kill that old woman, and you can live a life, you know what I'm saying, with a hell of a lot less sorrow in your life. You understand? With that, Salaki y'all for running over the time. You know what I'm saying? I did not mean to run that far over the time. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all rocking with a brother. You know what I'm saying? This has been an ISUPK Las Vegas scripture breakdown class. You know what I'm saying? Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have class in the Las Vegas area from 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday's the Brotherhood class. Wednesday's the Biblical Law class. And Thursday, the scripture breakdown class. You know what I'm saying? We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You know what I'm saying? For more information, you can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You can find us on YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. And you can find us on TikTok, all right? ISUPK Las Vegas. All right, with that, Lord Allah, see you brothers and sisters next week. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua thumb to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Thumb by Shem Yahshua to the sisters. All right, Lord be with y'all. Shalom, Israel.